right, welcome to another edition of the Spotter Stand. This week coming to you from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Got in the booth with us tonight BSR Pockets and BSR Chevy Chase, who is currently away but should be back to join us before the end of the show. How you doing tonight, Pockets?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing great. Texan, how about you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Sad to see another week behind us here. I'm already ready for next week. I'm itching for some more racing.
No, I didn't even look to see where we're going headed next week while we were here at Atlanta.
Las Vegas.
Ah, we're headed west then, aren't we?
Another good track. I'm sure it'll be another great week of racing. Before we get started here, we'd like to give a big congratulations to Kevin Harvick on his win today at Atlanta. It was a little emotional for him. It looked like there at the end. He'd been waiting a long time to do that, and he finally got it done. Congrats to Kevin Harvick, and great race. Now we've got some new things coming up here Monday and Tuesday nights, I believe. You want to fill us in on any new info we've got on that?
Well, we've got something in the plans right now for Monday night. I'm not really sure on all of the details yet. They're still back there in the drawing room bringing that all to fruition. But on Tuesday nights, we're bringing back the cattle crossing, the road course racing series at Bomb Squad Racing on Tuesday night. We'll have some exciting tracks for the road course ringers out there to come out and hone their skills and have some good times at the road course racing. We've got several people here that enjoy road course racing, so we're going to be bringing that back on Tuesday nights, and those road course races are always a blast. So everybody looking to do some turning left and turning right and spinning out in the grass like I usually do, we'll be kicking that off here shortly. And that's what we've got planned right now. We've got some other things coming up in the future here. We've got people in the back room back there working on things as we speak. So stay tuned right here to the Spotter Stand and to Facebook, and we stay current on what we've got coming up here.
Yeah, I know that that Road Rage Cattle Crossing series. That's one of my favorites. I love the road courses, no matter where it is. It's always a lot of fun, and something a little different. You get to turn right every once in a while. I can't wait for that thing to get started. So moving on, and we'll start off here with Wednesday night. Wednesday night at BSR, we run the Truck Series. Be NASCAR schedule. We run the original Project Wildfire CTS mod. Of course, it was Atlanta this week, and you have Keith McLean, relatively new here to BSR. He's friends with a couple of drivers that have been racing with us for the last year or so, and they asked him to come over. He came over, and wouldn't you know, won his first race in the Truck Series Wednesday night at Atlanta. Congrats, Keith.
Yeah, Keith comes to us via Jules, KJ, Julian, and KJ told him that this was some good series and some good racing, and he came in here and had quite a bit of success his first time out the gate here at Bomb Squad Racing on the Wednesday Night Truck Series. That was a tough race to win too. Nobody handed him anything. He come in here and he did a good job. Anybody that's a friend of KJ, they're super fast, super clean, good racers, and he proved it Wednesday night. So congratulations to Keith on his first win, first race at Bomb Squad Racing on the Wednesday night DrunkenCowJerky.com Wednesday Night Truck Series.
Yeah, he did ran a very clean race. Didn't get into anybody. Didn't have any incidents. Fast car, came home with a win. Let's take a look at the points for Wednesday night after we've got two races behind us. Look at there, yours truly, BSR Texan, up in the lead. Brain Fade, second place there, 5 points back. Racer X in third place, 9 points back. BSR Hot Rod right there in fourth, only 10 back, and rounding out the top five with a great finish, moving up 8 spots, be Danny Hardy, 16 points back.
Yeah, Danny and those guys are Danny. He's right there with me. We had a pretty lackluster week at Daytona, but we've kind of recovering and getting our feet back under us from all the action at Daytona as we move west to Atlanta. And good race by all those guys.
Now, I'm not sure if I believe the trucks are off for the next couple of weeks. So next week there won't be a race Wednesday night in the truck series, but I believe the Cup and Xfinity both do run at Las Vegas. Speaking of Cup, that will be our next series on Thursday night. BSR, another Drunken Cow Jerky racing series. We run the NASCAR Cup schedule. And of course, Atlanta again this week. And we had Robert Baucom bringing home the win at Atlanta in the Cup Series. That's you know, Robert raced with us quite a bit last season. He did really well. He's another great driver. It's good to have him running with us and starting the season this year. Just like this win he's got here, that's already earned him a bonus point towards the chase. I'm sure he's going to be one of the top runners all year long, and he'll be a contender when it comes to the last 10 races in the Cup Series for that helmet trophy.
Oh, absolutely. The old Tennessee Titan rolled into Atlanta and put on a good show there Thursday night. Robert brings the level of competition up 2 or 3 notches every time he shows up. We're looking forward to seeing him make some more appearances in the Thursday night Cup Series. He is a very well known, very well respected, very fast sim racer, and he showed it Thursday night. And he will, you know, when that 118 hauler rolls up into the track, everybody takes notice. They know they got to step their game up if the old Tennessee Titan shows up. So we're glad to have Robert with us, and look forward to some more good competition with him this season.
And let's take a look at the points for the Thursday night Cup Series. 2 races behind us currently, BSR SS Joba holds the top spot. And looky there, BSR Pockets had a great race at Atlanta, and he moved up 4 spots to take second place, down by 5 points. Third place also moved up a few spots there. BSR Momo down by 7. Rick Craddock down by 8 points in 4th place. And then there I am, BSR Texan, in 5th place, down by 14 points, rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, me and my buddy Ricky J, we were talking this weekend about those point series and those bonus points and everything, and I was referring to the race. I believe it was Friday night. I had Roger Bevins knocking on my door, and I had I was telling Rick, I said, you got in the back of your mind that top 5 for those bonus points in the first 13 races. And I was telling him, I was running second place. My tires were starting to show a little wear, heating up, and I decided to move over and let a couple of guys by because I was playing it safe, because I was thinking of the big picture. I was thinking I could take a chance and race hard and stay out there and fight for second place, fight for the lead. But that's a gamble because that put me in a precarious situation. So these points right here are very important every week, because the top 5 is going to get bonus points after the first 13 race segment, and the bonus points for the wins and stuff like that. So it really changes the way we race and the thinking behind the moves we make and everything week in and week out. So it's here we are, week number 2, and everybody's already starting to look at these points, and they've got their eye on that cutoff at position number 5, because that's where the bonus points end for the first segment. So yeah, it's going to be exciting this season to watch those every week.
Yeah, that's right. That getting in that top 5 at the end of the segment, that extra bonus point towards the chase. 1 point, as we've said many times before, 1 point can make the difference when it comes down to that last race at Homestead. And doing everything you can every race to maximize whatever you can get. Make sure you lead a lap, get that bonus point. If you don't think you got the car or truck to win the race, sometimes it's better to just play that conservative strategy and finish as best you can to get the good, consistent top 5, top 10 finishes, that's what's going to put you in that top 5 at the end of that segment to get that extra bonus point.
Oh, absolutely. What I like about this scoring system that we have is that you know you walk away from one of these races with the top 5 and you feel great about it. I mean, because that's you're racing for consistency. You're looking at that points board right there, and so it makes a big difference.
Now, it looks like we've had Rick Johnson join us here in the live booth. I'm not sure if he'll be able to speak with us or not, but we're just about to get to Friday night. Another Drunken Cow Jerky Racing Series over at BSR. We run on Friday the Xfinity Series. We run the NXS 15 mod. We duplicate the NASCAR Xfinity schedule. Also at Atlanta this week. And speaking of Rick Johnson, he did bring home the win in the Xfinity Series Friday night at Atlanta. Are you there, Rick? Can you hear us?
I gotcha. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Ricky?
So how was that race for you Friday night? Was that you think you had that wrapped up when that started, or did you have to work for that a little bit?
I had to adjust it a little bit throughout the middle of the run. The car was getting light off the corner. It took a bit of tweaking and just putting my car in the right position to just try to hold them off at the end there.
I believe it was H.B. Hardy was giving you a good run in that race, and there was another car in there. Was it Robert Balcom was also trying to run you down?
I believe it was Danny Hardy.
Danny Hardy, that's right.
Yeah, KJ was
and
up
Killer
in the
Jules.
Mix. Yeah, Chevy Chase. It was that race. I want to bring up a point here. That race, after of almost a year of racing with Rick Johnson, that was the first race that I've seen that Rick Johnson is actually a human, because he spun 3 times in that race and got lucky every time. And I'll tell you, I was shocked. I was like, Rick Johnson, he is a human. He spun 3 times. But he came back. He fought his way back. He stayed consistent, stayed up on that wheel, and what a great win. And I'll tell you, we've been talking about that race on Friday night ever since Friday night. We've been talking about it. I've told people that race will go down in my memory for a long, long time, because that was a great race. And I'll tell you right now, it's the people that were in there that made that race so great. What a great group of people. Danny Hardy, Killer Jules, HB, Rick Johnson, all the BSR boys. That was just, that was a great, great race right there. I'm glad everybody came out and had a good time. It was just a fantastic race.
Yeah, that was one of those races where, yeah, it was just great racing. Everybody was heads up driving. There were some close calls in that race. I recall that everybody did a great job doing what they need to do to stay off of the car in front of them, car behind them, car next to them, and we had some good fun racing there at that track.
Yes, sir. Well, congratulations, Rick. That was a heck of a run by you, and lit them up at Atlanta on Friday night. And you've shown that you come back through adversity, and you are a human being. Even though I was surprised to see that, I wasn't really sure. I kind of thought you were some type of cyborg, but you did a great job. Congratulations, brother.
Well, if anyone knows it's you, it's just putting yourself in the right place at the right time. I firmly believed KJ had the best car in that race, and he had trouble happen to him as well. So,
yeah, that last pit stop where everybody, we had to pit there, and everybody had a decision to make. Our tires weren't real worn, but Atlanta is a tire eating track, and everybody decided to pit, and KJ pitted out of the number 1 slot, and it forced him back into the crowd a little bit there, and he just never could really recover. But man, he was giving it all he had. So was everybody in that race. Good, clean. I mean, we were 3 wide. at Atlanta, going down into turn one on the restart. I mean, it was fantastic.
That was definitely one of the best races we've probably ever had.
Absolutely, I
For a
think so
while.
too. Yeah, it'll go down in the, like I said, in my memory, as one of the best ones in a long time. It's just great fun. Everybody left there laughing, smiling, and couldn't wait to come back to try it again.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at the points for Friday night. Now, Rick pulling off that win. If you had made the Daytona race in that series, you would probably have the lead currently. You're back a little ways though in this series since how you didn't make that Daytona race. Currently, I'm holding the points lead. BSR and Nelly, 5 points behind in second place. BSR Pockets, 6 points back in third place. And then we've got BSR Terry Scott, 7 points back in fourth. And Danny Hardy, another great race there at Atlanta, moved up 10 spots after that race to round out the top 5 down by 11.
You know, and it's important to note right here, you mentioned Rick Johnson not making Daytona. Well, the way this point system is structured, that's not really hurting him because he got a bonus point for winning Atlanta. So he's basically a little bit ahead of the curve here, bonus point wise, even though he missed a race at Atlanta, because we've got a provisional system set up because the way sim racers, you know, they have real family and real world things that they have to do, and they can't always attend the race. You know, it's not their job. They have other things that they have to do, and occasionally they have to miss a race. And the way this point structure is set up, it's made for that. So Rick misses Daytona, comes back, wins Atlanta. He puts himself solidly in the hunt because he's collecting bonus points to take into that chase with him. So he's setting good, even though it was unfortunate that he missed the first race at Daytona in that series. So that's how this point system is designed to work.
Yeah, he could actually miss 2 more races in that series and still get full bonus points for showing up to every race going into the chase. So, you know, he may not come back and win the segment, but he could still possibly get a top 5 in the segment, get a bonus point out of that, and would still have all of his bonus points going into the chase. Which, yeah, that's just like you said, missing a race. Missing 1 or 2 here or there is not really going to hurt you in the long run, as long as you can make those chase races. If you miss one in the chase, that's going to be tough to make up, even though you'll get the provisionals. Be real hard to make that up, but missing one during the regular season, you can afford to do that, miss a race here or there, and still be in contention to win the championship.
Yeah, because the way these segments work, these guys that are in the top 5, if from 3rd, 4th, and 5th, they're going to get a bonus point if they finish the first 13 race segment in the top 5. They're going to get 1 bonus point. They could finish in the top 5 and not win a race. Rick Johnson finishes outside the top 5 in the first 13 race segment, but he gets that bonus point for winning in Atlanta. Guess what? They're tied going into the chase at that point right there. So that's how that structure is designed to work, and we think it works really well.
Well, after our BSR race on Friday night, after the Xfinity Series, we move over to the Draft Masters, where they have the Super Speedway Series, rotates Talladega and Daytona. This past Friday night was Talladega, and BSR Furco brought home the win at the Draft Masters with only 2 races, I believe, left in that season.
I believe so. And man, what a popular win that was. The number 19 of BSR Furco, Stephen Furco, racing out of North Carolina, brings home the win. That guy's been in here. He's been racing hard, and he finally pulls off one at the Draft Masters on Friday night in the Super Speedway Series. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's a chore right there. That's a notch in your belt. you can pull off a win there at the Draft Masters in that Super Speedway series on Friday night, because there's some of the best Super Speedway series racers in this sim right there in the Draft Masters late nights. And congratulations to Furco, man. What a win. That was a popular one. Everybody walked away from that race laughing and having a good time. Good job, Furco.
Yeah, I believe there was only one caution in that race, or maybe that may have gone
I
caution free.
I think there was one maybe.
I know that there was a big pack all the way to the end, and there was a lot of jostling in there, and people trying to get that position, and Furco did a great job getting it up there in the front and pulling off the win.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a caution. It might have went caution free. I know it was a great race and some great pit stops, green flag pit stops going on there. There was a little bit of a skirmish on that last green flag pit stop, but everybody recovered and got back up on the wheel, and it was a real exciting finish. I just got through making a little short video clip, posting it on the Draft Masters page at Facebook of the number 19 taking that victory, and that'll be one people to remember for a long time. That gave a big shot of confidence to the number 19 team over there, so they'll be celebrating that for a long time.
Let's take a look at the points there in that series with just 2 races to go. BSR Chevy Chase currently holds the lead over there, and looks like he's got a good strong lead, 21 points over Racer X in second place. Poor boy Roger Bevins, third place, down by 28. BSR Pockets in fourth, down by 40. And BSR Hot Rod rounding out the top 5, down by 47. Now, it looks like Chevy would probably have to have some trouble. You know, those races will get some good turnouts. But, you know, Chevy's a pretty good super speedway racer. He's great in the pits. Very rarely gets a black flag or makes a mistake. So he's going to have some bad luck in at least one of those races, I think, for anybody to have a chance of catching him.
Yeah, you don't want to go into the last 2 races with Chevy Chase being 20 points ahead of you, I promise you, because he's one of those racers that he rises to the occasion when he needs to. He plays it safe when he needs to, and that'll be a tough row to hoe, as they say, to be able to get up there and challenge him with just only 2 races left. But I can guarantee you, guy like Roger Big Daddy Bevins back there, he ain't got no give up in him. I've seen him race too many times. He will fight to the last lap till he's out of fuel, till he's out of breath, the whole 9 yards. He's on his way, so don't count him out. He's gonna fight for it.
That's another good super speedway racer too. He knows how to draft. He's good in the pits. You know, and like I said, he knows how to use whichever line is moving to get to the front. So,
and he's also the defending champion of that series right there too. So he's gonna have something to say about it before it's all over with. That'll be exciting. You're gonna want to be there and be a part of that. So, you know,
and that runs on Friday night, 10:45 Central, 11:45 Eastern. Late night racers.
Yeah, good to see Danny Hardy joining us in the chat box over there. Well, how's it going, Danny? We were talking about you earlier, about all the good racing we had this week. We're glad that you could be a part of it. You and Heezy and KJ and all your little gang over there at PPR2 Racing. Glad you could join us tonight.
Yeah, we had the points up from the Atlanta races this week at BSR, and you did especially well on Friday night in the Xfinity Series. You moved up 10 positions in the points. So, yeah, congrats on that. Great job, man. And moving on from Friday night, on Saturday, back over at BSR, that is our Drunken Cow Jerky Battle of the 5 Flavors Team Series. And this week was team picking week. Now these teams each week, they're picked by lotto start. The way we do that is basically everybody who wants to be on a team, we're all in the server, and they will just click it forward to race. And, you know, that's your first lotto start. And we don't just take the first one just to make sure it's random. After the first one, we take the server all the way back, restart the server, click it to a second lotto start, take the server back again, and the third time's a charm, we click it to another lotto start, and then the teams are chosen by the order they were put into the qualify there by random. In other words, your first three cars are team one, second three cars are team two, third three cars, and so on and so on. That assures they're random every season, and you very rarely end up with the same teammates 2 seasons in a row. Sometimes you do, but not so often. And let's see, I've got an image here of our teams this season. Start out here on the top left, we have got Teriyaki. This season is going to be the number 24 of Roger Bevins, the number 103 of Nelly, and the number 65 of BSR Hot Rod. It's a good, strong team. I've had Hot Rod on my team before a few seasons ago. He's a good super speedway racer. I've raced with Nelly, had him on a team in the past. I don't think I've ever been on a team with Roger, but we talked about him and his super speedway ability earlier. So all three of these guys, put them together on one team. That's a good, strong, consistent team. Teriyaki's going to be one to deal with this season.
Oh, absolutely. That's a stout team right there. Larry Yeager, the number 65 BSR Hot Rod. He's coming off a championship in season 33, and he's back with Teriyaki by the random draw, so he doesn't even have to change cars. He's going to be carrying the Teriyaki flag again into season 34. So be looking for that team to be strong.
Yeah, and then we move down to Original. This season is going to be the number 30 of HB Hardy, number 38 BSR Pockets, and the number 710 of Manny D. Another strong team. You know, HB, he's kind of like me. I think not real fond of the super speedway racing, but he's a real capable driver, and he knows how to draft. And I think he's pretty good in the pits. You know, with a few of these, gets a few of these super speedway races in, and he'll get even better at his pit stops. You know, Manny D. He's an all-around racer. He races just about everywhere. I think everybody in this community knows who Manny D is, and another good super speedway racer. Original, another great team.
Yeah, HB and I talked a couple of months ago. He was talking about struggling a little bit with his super speedway racing program, and I told him, I encouraged him. I said, come to the Saturday night team series race. And I said, if you run those 10 races right there every Saturday night, I said, you will walk away a much better super speedway racer. I said, because on Saturday nights, that's when they get down to business. Open sets in the Gen 6 BR15 Cup mod, season 34. That means that we have run 330 65% races on Saturday nights. It's important to note here that BSR, when they very first started back in the Sierra Lobby days, we were a super speedway server back then. That's, you know, you had all different kinds of philosophies and stuff like that. We always ran super speedways. Saturday night was always special to us because that's the night when, you know, most people don't have to work the next day, and Saturday night, and we always put up a little bit longer race on Saturday night. So BSR has had a super speedway series running for almost 15 years because they actually started in NASCAR 3. So that is one of the longest, if not the longest, super speedway series in the history of this sim, and it shows with the people that are in there. A lot of these people have been at almost every one of those 330 races so far, and it does make a difference because they get down to business on Saturday night, I will assure you.
Oh, absolutely. Every one of these names that you see on the list here were in that race this past Saturday night, and that race went caution free all the way to the end. Not a single caution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it was a great race. Most of them are usually like that. It's amazing with those long races like that. You would think there would be some cautions, and every once in a while we'll have a caution or two. A lot of them will come because of engine failures. You know, people adding tape, trying to run a little more than they really should. But that's some great racing in that series.
Yeah, I think I did the math one time, and about 8 out of 10 of those races finish under green. So that's an impressive figure when you're racing real hard there at the end is usually when you have a lot of trouble, and you'll look on the standings and you'll see 3 cautions. You see 3 cautions on Saturday Night Team Series. I guarantee you 2 of it's for blown engines.
And moving down to the hot team this season is going to be number 11, BSR Ray 5050.
Betty.
Number 54, BSR Momo.
54.
And the 201, BSR Texan. Ray 50, that's his specialty, or super speedways. So, and that's a great teammate to have. That's his thing. He's always going to qualify well. He'll be up there probably in the top 2 or 3 almost every week on the start. Momo, that's another great teammate, good super speedway driver. And that's a guy who knows the ins and outs of this team series, and how to help your team, whether you're in the front or whether you're a lap down. Sometimes in this team series, that's where that can play in. You may not have a good pit stop. You may lose the draft. You may end up half a lap back, and the end of the race may be closing in on you, and your teammate might be in the lead, a quarter of a lap behind you, half a lap behind you, and he may need a little help, to get by some other cars. So that's where team racing can kind of come into play. You can slow down a little bit and let that pack catch up and be a lap down and still help your teammate get a good finish. That's part of this team racing is to stick in it, even if you're a lap down or even if you've come out, because you can still help your team and you can still get a good finish.
Yeah, the strategies and that Saturday Night Team Series is a thinking man's race, because the strategies and communicating with your teammates is key there, because there's a bunch of different scenarios that can play out, a lot of different things you can do, because we only score the top driver on each team each week. So, you'll see people, they'll sacrifice themselves, they'll throw themselves on their sword for the betterment of their team, and that's what we like to see. You'll hear them, they'll communicate with each other, they'll come up with a plan. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of strategy that goes along with the Saturday Night Team Series. This isn't one of those just series where you put everybody out on the track and it's every man for themselves. The team aspect of the Saturday Night Team Series really rises to the top and is what makes this series so much fun, because it's 3 people that you're used to battling with, or 2 other people that you're used to battling with all week long. Then Saturday night, y'all get together and you make a commitment to work together for the betterment of your team, and it's just a perfect team building experience. It's really fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, and sometimes you can use other teams as well, in the strategies. We all get to looking at those points as we get, midway through these seasons. And you'll look, if you're the 3rd, 4th team back in points, well, or say you're the 2nd, 3rd team back in points, you're looking at not only what teams are in front of you, but what teams are behind you, because it's like, okay, we can afford to finish behind this team here because they're below us in points, but we need to finish in front of this other team over here because they're ahead of us in points. So, if you have to work with one team or another, or one car or another, then you want to go with the team that's below you in points to help push them past the guys you need to pass as well. There's all kinds of strategies that work in this team series.
Yeah, Rick Johnson ran his very first team series last season in season 33. And Rick is he's a racing ace, but he is a super speedway phenom. And Rick, what did you think? What was your take on how that Saturday Night Team Series shakes out, the way everything's set up there?
I just really like the aspects of getting teams together and working together to reach an ultimate goal, not for yourself, but for your teammates. And it was a great experience for me to learn. I know I ran a couple races there last season, and I went out there. I think there was one night, my team, Beer Bacon, we were kind of out of contention for the points, so we just kind of said, okay, we're just going to go out there and run the best race we can, and that's exactly what we did. I believe our team finished 1, 2, 3, and I think by that point we were by ourselves, and I believe I led 92 laps out of the 123 laps that night. And I would have never done it though without my teammates, and that's why I love the team series. And it's a great chance for you to settle your scores in a team way format in that super speedway series. So that's what I really like about the philosophy of that.
Yeah, you get your teammates on a whisper, and they communicate back and forth together, and you'll go in every Saturday night and you'll work together with a guy that you may not know very well, or you're just now getting to know. But by the time that 10 race series is over, I always say, by the time the 10 race series is over, those guys that are on your team, they'll be on your Christmas card list. They'll be your friends. I mean, you'll not only have a chance to experience the teamwork aspect, but you'll make some lifelong friends in the Saturday night team series that of guys that you go in not really knowing, but by the time 10 weeks is over, you'll get to know them. You'll get to know where they're from, their wife and their kids' names, what their favorite food is. It's got everything. The Saturday Night Team Series has got everything you ever want in sim racing and then some.
Absolutely, and that's one of my favorite parts about it too. I was fixing to say is that you get to know people that you really didn't ever get to know before on the racetrack, and as people as well. And I really got to know SS Joba very well, and I have a lot of respect for how consistent he races on the supers himself. So
Absolutely.
it was a great time.
And speaking of SS Joba, he is on our next team coming up. It's going to be Ghost. This season, the Ghost team is going to be number 33 of BSR Jimmy Dale, number 49 of BSR Brain Fade, and the number 56 of BSR SS Joba. Another three great drivers. BSR SS Joba, he's tough on all the tracks, but another great super speedway driver. I've been on his team several times. Way back before it was Drunken Cow Jerky, and we had you remember the Black Car Mafia and the Aftershock teams?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
And SS and I were on Aftershock, I think 2-3 seasons in a row together. And we had some great seasons, great runs. He's a good super speedway driver. Brain Fade as well. Brain Fade, real experienced driver. Good, consistent. Doesn't take a lot of chances. Just tries to get that good, consistent finish, and he'll try to be there at the end. And definitely knows how to help his team.
Oh yeah, that Brain Fade. I'm telling you right now, 330 races. I think he's missed 2 of them. I'm almost positive that 2, and it may have been only 1, but I think it's 2 races that he has missed out of 330 races. SS Joba been there the whole time. Jimmy Dale's a veteran of the Saturday Night Team Series, so you've got some guys that have logged hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of laps in the Saturday Night Team Series. So that's a strong veteran team right there.
Now our race this past Saturday didn't count toward the points. The first race after the teams are picked that night, we have what we call a meet and greet race. Get to know your teammates, get your whispers set up, just have a good fun run, and get used to working with who you're going to be working with for the next 10 races. And this past Saturday's meet and greet race, our winner, BSR Brian Boyles, is on our next team. Beer Bacon is going to be the number 68 of BSR Brian Boyles, number 83 BSR Scar, and the number 91 of BSR DJ Champ. Another strong team, BSR DJ Champ. We all know him. He's well known as the pole king. He sits on the pole. Not on, almost never gets beat at the super speedways for the pole, and even the speedway tracks that he comes to, Michigan, California, Texas. He's 99% of the time going to be on the pole at those tracks as well. BSR Scar, BSR Brian Boyles, 2 more really experienced racers, great in the super speedways. I don't think you could mix these teams up in any way whatsoever and really have
One dominant team,
one
yeah.
really dominant team. I mean, there's so many good drivers here that no matter how you shake it up, all of these teams are contenders, and these points stay close in this series all the way to the end.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting note here too. DJ Champ, out of the 330 races, he's probably missed 2, maybe 3. But something to take note of, I'm not so sure that DJ Champ, when he qualified, he's gotten the pole for. I promise you, he's gotten 300 poles, maybe more, maybe 325. It would be interesting to go back and look at, but that guy right there he is the master at qualifying. He everybody knows when DJ rolls up, everybody knows who's getting the pole. You're qualifying for second place. Second place is the best you're going to do when the 91 car rolls out there. And something else to take note of, number 83 BSR Scar, that's Tim Scarborough, owner of WLS Graphics. He and I got together during the race. I called him on the phone, and we devised a little plan, something that we've never done on the Saturday Night Team Series before. We wanted a way to thank these guys that come out for all these races over these years. This series started in 2008, and we wanted to do something a little special for season 34. So Tim and WLS Graphics has gotten together with Bomb Squad Racing, and we're going to get a series-specific T-shirt made for this season, and we're going to award the top team, all 3 drivers, is going to get a nice T-shirt made by WLS Graphics. So that's going to be something very...
Yeah, that's awesome. That's special right there. Those T-shirts, I've still got my Polar Bear 500 T-shirt, and I love that thing, man. I wear it all the time, and it's those are great to have, especially if it's got your own personal stuff on it, like the teriyaki, whatever team you were on, your car number, anything like that. Yeah, the league logo, it's just, it's unique and it's your own. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
I got the Hangover 500 T-shirt with the BSR logo on it. It's comfy.
Yeah, I've heard they're really nice. I haven't been fortunate enough to even get one yet.
Get a long sleeve.
I do have a Polar Bear 500 T-shirt though, because I did finish second in that race. But yeah, big shout out to Tim, everybody over at WLS Graphics. They do all the graphics for us. They do the graphics for Drunken Cow Jerky. Mark Heyman, Richard Heyman, fine folks down in Dallas, Texas. Scar does. If you get a bag of Drunken Cow Jerky and you look on the front of it, WLS Graphics, Tim Scarborough, he did that. He did that for Mark and Richard and all those folks at Drunken Cow Jerky, and he is just an asset to this team that cannot be, we can't never thank him enough for all the work that he does. He does all the renders for all the winners, does a lot of paint jobs along with our great painter, BSR Wings. So that's going to be, I'll tell you right now, this series, I never really thought about it until after I kind of announced it, but I thought, man, I have just ratcheted up everybody's going to be racing hard for that T-shirt. I promise you, there's going to be some implications before this is all over with, because everybody's going to want to walk away from season 34 with that championship T-shirt. So it's going to be exciting this season.
Oh yeah, especially as it wraps up to those final few races. We call this the Battle of the 5 Flavors. The last couple of seasons, we've added the 6th flavor to it, the Wolf Bites. Drunken Cow Jerky does a dog treat. It's called Wolf Bites. All natural. You could eat it. It's actually not bad. And this season, on the Wolf Bites team, is going to be the number 10 of BSR Chris V and the number 096 of BSR Chevy Chase. They were one member short, but we will have somebody. There's always extra guys that come in, so the first guy that comes in that's not on the team will be assigned to their team.
Wolf,
And
I actually forgot to tell you, Killa. I got a call last night. I sent a text to BSR Steven. Steven was out of pocket. He's actually working on a vehicle for BSR Magoo, and he's on his way to take it to Magoo up to Durango, Colorado. And he texted me back and said, yes, that he was in, so he will be the third member of the Wolf Bites, BSR Steven. So that's another team right there that's going to be tough.
yeah, Chris V, uh, he's a great super speedway racer. He's pretty much, I'd put him right there on par with Chevy Chase. Yeah, if any team were to be stacked, I would almost have to say it would be that one. When you add Steven into that team, because like I said, Chevy is one of the most consistent pitters, being able to get in there and get out with a great time and not get a black flag. He's one of the best at that. And Chris B, he's no slouch either in the super speedways. It seems like he's always one of those guys that's right there in that lead draft pack at the end of the race. So yeah, I would have to say if any team out of these six are stacked, it's that Wolf Bites team.
I'm going to tell you right now, that number 10 car of Chris V. Look, you look at the statistics of this series, and he is phenomenal at this Saturday night team series. I mean, it's nothing to see him win 3 races out of 10.
Right.
It's nothing. He wins. I don't know how many seasons in a row that Chris V has had multiple wins, or at the very least a win in every series, but it goes back a long ways, and you can always count on that 10 car to be up front, battling, nailing his pit stops, trying to lead the most laps. He is one of the most, he plays this series every Saturday night. He's there. He's a contender, and he's an asset to any team. I mean, that ratchets that team up a notch just because of that 10 car. Then you got Chevrolet Chase. He's no slouch. I mean, he's a champion here. So, along with BSR Steven, a long-time sim racer, long-time racer in the Saturday Night Team Series, that's another stout team. This is going to be a true battle of the 5 flavors and Wolf Bites right here. It's going to be a battle starting at 8:05, 9:05 Eastern next Saturday night, and it's not going to stop for 10 weeks. And it's going to be exciting every night. One thing to remember, too, people out there that aren't on a team, you can race. Because let me tell you something. You come into Saturday night and you race against these teams, you race for one thing and one thing only, and that's the win. And if you can pull off a win in the Saturday Night Team Series, you've done something in this sim. I will assure you, you've done something that you can be proud of that very few people can do. So that's the gauntlet right there has been thrown down. You think you got it? You'll find out what you got in the Saturday Night Team Series real quick.
Hey, you don't have to be on a team to run. All are welcome to come in and participate. Being on a team or not. Having the extra cars in there sometimes throws a little extra something into the mix. Makes you think. You can use maybe a different strategy.
Yeah, if you're a driver in good standing on the invite list, Bomb Squad Racing or Draft Masters, man, I'll tell you this: you may not be on a team, but you want some serious. You got some other super speedway races or something coming up in your future. That right there, you'll learn something on Saturday night. I promise you, because you're racing with some of the best there is in this sim on Saturday night. So you want to come in and get some pointers or see how you stack up? That's where you do it right there, Saturday night.
And Saturday night after our team series runs, we move over to the Draft Masters, where they run a speedway series on Saturday night. Also starts at 10:45 Central, 11:45 Eastern for the late night racers, and was at Michigan this week, Saturday night, and HB Hardy was able to pull off the win there at Michigan. That was a tough race. I know you were in that, Rick. You and HB were battling it out there. for most of that run. I think I was right there trying to hang with you guys, was able to maybe stay with you, but I don't think I had anything for either of you in the long run. Even even trying to save my tires, I still couldn't. I just couldn't get it together at the end of the run.
Ricky, go get a Swiss roll, or is he still here?
Well, congrats to HB on his win in
I'll
this
tell
series.
you, Texan, that was a heck of a race right there. I mean, it was a good race. We unfortunately the points leader, Steve Looney, in the number 24, lost fourth gear, and that hurt him quite a bit. I don't know where he shook out in the points there, but he had a little bit of a lead. He had a little bit of a cushion there, and Larry Yeager, he had a little trouble, had a little skirmish there on the front stretch at Michigan, and so that thing might have equaled itself out, leveled itself out, and stopped the bleeding for Steve Looney. I remember radioing to him and telling him, Steve, just keep it in third gear and drive it till it blows up and hope something happens and you can maybe recover a couple of points because it's going to be close here. But man, that was another race that everybody walked away from smiling and having a good time. HB Hardy, class of the field. He and Rick Johnson went after it that last couple of laps. I just went and made a little video and posted to the Draft Masters page that shows their last lap, and it was they were getting down to business. And like I said, another great race. I mean, did we have a caution in that race? I can't remember. I don't think we did we?
Did someone say Swiss roll?
Yes, Swiss roll. We was asking you about your battle between you and HB Hardy there in the Saturday Night Draft Master Speedway Series at Michigan.
Oh, yeah. The setup was really tight in that race, I felt. So once I let Hardy by to conserve my tires, I just couldn't get him back at the end. But I tried to get to the inside of him. It was just too wide to get him on the outside there. So
Well,
we had a good time though, and I believe it did go full green. So we were using them up for sure. So it was an energy taker.
I noticed that y'all both on that last lap or next to the last lap, y'all both drove it down into the turf, battling each other. Got a little of that gravel on each other and a little bit of grass stains fighting for that win there. And unfortunately, you got a little bumper hook off the back of the 30 car, and unfortunately it sent you down in the grass there. I know that was a rough ride. I don't think you hit anything. I think you probably a little bit sore today, but that was some great action. Like I said, I just posted a video of it on Facebook on the Draft Masters page, and it was something to see.
Oh yeah, and I still managed to get third. Robert snuck by me at that point, but I saved it and straightened it back out and brought her home after a long green flag race for sure.
Absolutely. Bringing it home third after that little deal right there in a caution-free race is something to be proud of. So congrats to everybody, and thanks to everybody that came out to that race. Robert and Monty Keller and all the guys, Roger Bevins, a lot of good racers in that series. That's another series that runs late night on Saturday nights, 10:45 Central, 11:45 Eastern, and features some great speedway racing. And like I said, we encourage everybody, if you think you got what it takes to come in there and be competitive, look up Chevy Chase on Facebook. Talk to him. Ask him some questions about how do you get on the invite list to come into a race like that. And he'll tell you all the requirements for coming in and enjoying some of these races and some of the great prizes. One thing of note, I was telling somebody the other day, in 3 weeks, in just the last 3 weeks, and between Voiles Trucking and Bomb Squad Racing, along with our sponsor, Drunken Cow Jerky, we have given away well in excess of over $300 worth of prizes, probably close to $350. And we don't ever even ask you for a donation. come in here and race. These guys at Bomb Squad Racing, they've taken care of everything for you. We've got our server paid for. We've got our TeamSpeak paid for. We've procured the sponsors that love to have us mention their companies on a show like this and on Facebook. Drunken Cow Jerky, Voiles Truck and Real Tech. Hello Sunshine, hello, WLS Graphics, the Medicine Chest, all of those people, they see the value in what we do, and we take care of all of that stuff. You come in here, you race, you're clean, you're a respectable, good person. Guess what? You're going to walk away here with some real prizes. This is no joke. We try to make this as real a simulation as it can be, and that includes prizes and awards for the people that support us, and we thank everybody for coming out.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at those Saturday night points. I believe there are 4 races left in that Draft Master series. And Steve Looney did drop back, but he's only 2 points behind Robert Baucom. Robert Baucom, with his finish there, moved up 3 spots to take the lead. Steve Looney dropped back 1 spot, down by 2 in second place. And actually, he's tied with Hot Rod. BSR Hot Rod tied for second, also down by 2. And then you go back to Rick Johnson, who moved up a spot in that last run. He's down by 7 in fourth place. And then myself, BSR Texan, down by 11, rounding out the top 5. 4 races left to go in that series. So there's still, looks like even all the way back to, really all the way back to 8th where you're at, Pockets, 30 points back with 4 races. It's still quite a few drivers that have a chance at that one.
Oh yeah, that's going to be, you can tell right now, it's going to be tooth and nail all the way to the end of that series right there, because I mean, you got a racer like Steve Looney, Tennessee Titan Robert Baucom, Larry Yeager, Rick Johnson, Monty Keller, Big Daddy Roger Bevins. I mean, that field is stacked up right there, and it's going to be some hellacious racing all the way to the finish. Where we headed next week, Ghost and Light, that's going to be just, I think somebody said Las Vegas, didn't they? Or,
well, we're Las Vegas for our Cup and NXS, but I'm not sure where the Draft Masters is at next week.
well, it's going, wherever we're headed, it's going to be a heck of a race. So
Let's see
we
if
look
I
forward
can get that
to it.
schedule up. I bet I can do that.
We may still have to discuss that.
California
at Draft Masters next week.
California. Oh, Ricky J says. Yeah. Yeah, so that's I mean, that race went caution free. Yeah, that race went caution free. That's and another thing, that's because of the quality of people that we have in that race. You know, we start with what type of a person they are, then we look at what type of racer they are, because it's just like I was telling Robert the other night. I said, let me tell you something. What makes a great race is great people, period. Because those people, if they're a good guy, you can bet that they're going to bring that to the track every week, and it's going to show up. And you know, it just makes for great racing. It really does. That's a great group of people right there. I'm proud to be associated with them. I'm proud to line my car up beside them, and I'm glad that they come out every Saturday night and race with us.
And last but not least here, let's see if we can move over to the spreadsheet that Momo likes so much. I don't think he's even in here with us this evening. And see if we can update you here on the bonus points. All right, I've got up the NXS 15 and the truck bonus points. Let's see here if I can add a little something. You can see the only thing that's changed in this is Rick Johnson here with the bonus point for the win. And then he's been added in over here on the totals, 1 bonus point. And same thing on the trucks. Keith McLean on Wednesday night with the win. He's picked up a chase bonus point for that win. And he's been added to the totals over here. and we'll keep this running for you each week. We'll keep you updated on your race winners, and when we get to the end of the segments, we'll keep these bonus points updated for you every week.
Yep.
And go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like some of those bonus points are going to have to be adjusted there. So there's going to be some movements around in those bonus points. So we've got a driver or two I see on there that's no longer going to be associated with any of these series. So that's going to shake the bonus points up and move things, shuffle things around to the top. And that, like I said, what's exciting about and what's great about this show is that we're going to look at this every week. We're going to walk you through this. So after the first 4 or 5 weeks here, you're going to really get to understand how this bonus thing works, and you're going to want to tune in and see where everybody's shaking out as we slowly work our way across the country through all of these different tracks, all of these different series, all of these different races. This is all going to change every night. It's going to fluctuate. You're going to be here, you're going to be there, you're going to be all over the place. But what's really going to be exciting is when we get 2 or 3 races away from that chase and you see how this is all going to shape up. And when we roll into that first race of the chase, it's going to be just the most exciting thing in sim racing. And it's going to be, those last 10 races are going to be everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll get these updated for you, and we'll, like Pocket said, keep you up to date every week as the seasons go on and we get through the segments and we get closer to the chase. These boards are really going to fill up. There'll be a lot of names in here and a lot of points. Over to the Cup, we've got basically same situation that we had in the truck and NXS series. Basically only change, Robert Balcom with the win in Atlanta, 1 bonus point. And we've added him in over here where he's 118, Robert Balcom right there with his total. Now remember, these totals over here don't include the bonus point for showing up to a race. Like Pocket said earlier, we've got some provisional set up towards these chase bonus points. Everybody can't make every race, even though you do get a bonus point for every race you show up to. Most drivers, if you miss 2, 3 races, you're still going to get full bonus points for each segment. So, if you come through segment 1, which is 13 races, and you made 10 of them, 9 of them, you're still going to have 13 bonus points for attending every race. We try to keep it as tight as possible in the chase and give everybody an opportunity, even if you couldn't make every race all season long. So, these points over here to the right are only the extra bonus points that get figured in on top of those showing up for a race points. But that's pretty much, everybody will have almost the same showing up for a race points. There's only going to be a few drivers here or there that'll have a little bit less. You can see here in the Cup so far, BSR Momo has got the most there with 3, pulling off that win in the Daytona. Got him those 3 bonus points. That was a special event race. Everybody else hovering around 1. A couple of guys with 2. As we go through the series, though, this Cup series has got more races than any other series that we run. And, there'll be a lot of numbers in here. There'll be a lot of different guys that are going to be winning races. Some of these guys winning multiple races. So there's where most of your lead in the chase is going to come in. If you can win some races and win 3 or 4 or 5 races, then you may have a decent little lead going into the chase. But it's still going to be pretty close in anybody's Cup come the end of the season.
Yeah, those bonus points are going to, they're going to create a little bit of an advantage, but it's not a big enough advantage that you're going to be able to bank on it. I mean, we designed it that way. We wanted you to have a slight advantage, reward you for showing up and supporting these series, reward you for the success you have in these races. But you're not going to be able to count on that. You're going to be glad that you've got those few bonus points, but you're going to have to fight those last 10 races to take advantage of even having them in the first place. It's like I said, it's going to be a little bit of an advantage for you. It's going to be worth the struggle and the fight it takes to get it because, like I said, been too many times that these series roll into Homestead, Florida, and it comes down to that last race, and you look back at those races that you capitalized on and you got a bonus point by the time this series is over. One of those races back there that you won, one of these special events or something, you'll be able to contribute to your success and being able to put that golden helmet on your mantle or two of those nice trophies that Drunken Cow Jerky sponsors. You'll be thinking about that while you're enjoying some nice bags of Drunken Cow Jerky from our sponsor. I mean, it's all going to be worth it. Like I said, just follow us along and watch this story unfold.
Well, that's about it for this week. We're going to be rolling into Vegas next week. We'll be back on Sunday, probably about a half hour after the race. That's pretty much the schedule I think we're going to keep for the rest of the season. Is as long as NASCAR is racing on Sunday, then we'll probably be on about a half hour after the race is over. If there's not a race on Sunday, they race the Saturday night before, then we'll probably be on around 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday.
Yeah, and special thanks to Rick Johnson for being here. For most people that know Rick Johnson, Rick Johnson's been around a long time. For most people that know, you can imagine how excited we are to have Rick Johnson here on the spotter stand, actually talking on the microphone. That could be one of the firsts in broadcast history. I think that he's probably had a couple of interviews out there, but nothing extended like this. And so we want to give a special thanks for him to, shaking up his busy schedule to come in here and join us on the spotter stand. So thanks for coming tonight, Rick.
No problem.
Yep, you're always welcome. I'm sure, with all the different series we have going on throughout the week, you'll find a way to try to pull off a win in at least one of those. So, you're always welcome in here, whether you got the win on any of the series or not. You join us anytime you want.
Yeah, come on in here in between and enjoying a nice bowl of honeycombs and I know you've got a lot of things going on over there, so we're just glad that we could you were gracious enough to share your time with us tonight.
Got to do something.
That's right.
Thanks everybody who tuned in, and we will see you next week.
Holla!
Move.